Well, it wouldn't be a 420 podcast if it didn't start at least a half hour late. This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob, and my message. It's always 420 somewhere. So, thank you for joining the O The Anthem podcast, coming to you from the hashtag OTA LA studios, high by the 110 freeway in downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening on your podcatcher of choice, subscribing, rating, reviewing, all those things. Loved by us. Telling people, another great thing you can do, a more personal thing you can do.
And of course, you can find more O The Anthem at O The Anthem on Twitter and Instagram. You're watching right now at facebook.com/O The Anthem, where you'll catch every episode recorded live right here, usually not on a Saturday. Special circumstances today.
Yeah.
Usually on Monday nights. And of course, in a couple weeks, you'll be able to catch us on a Sunday. We'll get into that a little bit later. But you can always find all of O The Anthem's videos at youtube.com/O The Anthem. And of course, everything related to this at otheanthem.com.
Indeed.
Okay. Well, we were rocking real smooth right up until that point. It was all right. It was going. Just, man.
So, yes, it is April 20th, 420.
It is. By the way, did you see the opening? That was real fucking professional.
Yeah.
White screen to the intro, into the two shot.
Yeah.
You guys go back and watch like episode 1 on YouTube and compare it to what just happened.
I put the first video we ever did as the screenshot for the 5-year anniversary episode.
Yeah.
Like in the art. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. Like it used to be just one camera, like plugged far away, like
sitting below our eye line, pointed up at us while we're squatting on the edge of a couch.
Sitting next to a refrigerator, like everything about that was not a great like look. But you know, you get better. You get better. So
everything improves.
Yeah.
So yes, it is April 20th.
Yes.
That's why we're so easily distracted.
We decided, much like we did the last year and the year before, I can't remember.
No,
we kept it along as long as California has had recreational,
which was just last year.
So
year before, we had, for those of you who follow us on Patreon, a special episode just for Patreon supporters when we came through Denver, where it was in fact legal. And maybe it would be nice this week to post that. Yeah. Just for everybody.
You know what? I think I'll do that on like a Friday or something like that.
Yeah,
little bonus episode for everyone.
Nice bonus. Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. That one probably more funny than this one because that one, I don't know what Corey purchased while we were there, but I was not of my right self at all. Also, we were sitting in the creepiest store basement I've ever been in.
Yeah.
Not really creepy. We shouldn't say it's creepy. It was interesting.
It was very necessary at the time. And you know, this is the thing. I would say that throughout all the experiences that this podcast has had with marijuana over the years, whether it was simply discussing it or having the chance to imbibe from time to time, one thing that always remains sort of hilarious to me is that like the rules are all over the fucking place. So like in California, it's medicinal and it's recreational.
Yes.
But if you don't have a doctor's rec, you can only go to recreational places. And there's some places that are still only medical, and there's some places that are rec, and there's some places that you don't know if they're really legally in business at all. And it's like, it's fine because eventually you get what you came for. You get marijuana at some point at the end of it. And you don't have to worry so much about like people coming down on you for it.
Yeah.
Which is a nice part of it too. I mean, because there was a part of time, there was a place in time, like if I was in high school and I was trying to get a little bit of weed, like get a nickel bag of weed just for the night in Towson somewhere.
Sometimes dirt weed like, too. Yeah, fucking dirt weed.
It was like fucking like, all right, you got to go to this guy's house and talk to him in person, and then he'll set up the connect with the other guy. And I'm just like, all right. Yeah, it seems totally. He's like, make sure you have your phone turned off. And I'm like turning off my Motorola Razr and like. But, yeah, I mean, like, you know, it's like it's easier to do than ever before. But then there's so much like paranoia about like being afoul of the law, the federal law.
I was going to say,
I think, like,
yes and no. Some people not so much.
Well, yeah, I mean, like some people are like ordering fucking weed on their phones with their credit card, like I couldn't even fucking imagine
from other states. Yeah, so we're gonna get that FedEx, right? Like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna FedEx after using my credit card marijuana from another state delivered to me in this Say to my home address, please. That would be great.
It used to be where I was so fucking like crazy about it, where I was just like, I have to cash a check for work so that I can take out the $300 that I get with it.
Yeah.
So that I can use to. It's like therefore there is no like unusual money trail of me taking out more money than
right.
Like,
right.
If somebody ever came to me and it's like, what's with this $300 you took out with your check this week? I'd be like, I do that every week.
Every single week. I don't know.
I take out a little walking around money and I leave the rest in the bank. Like, I don't know what you. All right. We're not going to get you on that petty marijuana charge from 17 years ago.
I was going to say, to be fair, most of those experiences for you, though, were probably like, let's say 3. I think it's a 3-year statute of limitations now. So,
I mean, like in Maryland, they wouldn't even give a shit anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's
they're
right.
not even convicting marijuana cases anymore,
especially in the city of Baltimore.
I'm sure there's still one lawyer in Denton who has like one pot conviction on his like docket, and he's just like, "Fuck it, I'm taking this one all the way to the end."
To be fair, that is a jurisdiction by jurisdiction, and I guarantee you, if you get caught with pot in Denton, and there is a way that they can charge you, they will charge you with marijuana. Yeah. So don't do that. That would be really dumb. But in Baltimore, at least you're all right.
They'd weigh with all the lint in your car just to make sure that it gets over the ounce. It's just like, find a white. That's 80% lint.
Find a white powder substance in there. Test it. It comes back, I don't know, foot powder. And they're like, I don't know if I trust these results. Like, it's your test. What do you want me to do? But you won't have to do.
The doctor comes back. It's like, it tested positive for talcum. And it's like the latest street drug.
Or, wait. Okay, so let's do some math here.
Yeah.
They do cut cocaine with something.
Yeah.
Sometimes they use talc powder.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy got an especially rich
Listen,
mixture.
He tried to buy, I swear to God, he tried to buy a plastic container sealed from a factory full of cocaine. Mm-hmm. It turned out to be mostly talcum powder, but I imagine that they tried to cut it with the talcum powder and only gave, like, just by happenstance, gave him all the talcum powder by mistake. Like,
it says it's on the outside of the
somehow
package,
they mixed it all together, but the only ones that made it into his thing were
talcum.
Yeah. And I don't know how they got it factory sealed from the Gerber's packaging is a nice touch, but
to be fair, that is not a bad way to smuggle cocaine.
Just a child and then a
baby powder, and seal it so that it's got the original factory seal on it. If you're looking to get into the drug business, I'm just saying, capital is really all I'm looking for.
Rob's walking into the country with 8 children. Like, oh, I'm very sorry, officer. It's gonna be hard to shake your hand. Once they decide they're attached to me, it's really hard to convince them.
They just come on.
They love me so much. Papa Cheek, they call me.
Yes, that's what they call me. Anyway, but I was going to say, you don't have to have those.
Papa Rob.
You don't have to have those incidences like you had a few years ago in Baltimore, where you went out for one of your walks and the police commissioner slid on the curb behind you and followed you around town.
Yeah, that was really hysterical. So
looking back on it, it's very hysterical.
At the time, it's so funny. Like, so I know so many people who in their life have been paranoid with weed, like unusually paranoid.
Also, people who have like bad trains of thought.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I get it. And if that's how you are, then probably weed in a place where you could get arrested for it is not a place to do it.
No,
but like,
I would say no.
In Baltimore, so that was we were at Ridgely's Delight. It was 4th of July. John invited me to his dad's yacht for the fireworks.
Yeah.
And then I said, I'm not going to let fireworks go
unassisted.
Yeah. So I decided to smoke before I left. And then I was walking to the Inner Harbor, and I had that like spidey sense that someone was right around me. And I sort of look over my shoulder a little bit, and I see a Baltimore City cop who's standing like, diagonally behind me. Like, yeah, it's all right. You know what? Nothing wrong with that. Police officer is behind me. It's cool. No crime for being high. I don't have anything on me. Yes. I'm good.
Yes.
And then I like keep walking, and that spidey sense hits me again. And I think at this point, like, I look off the reflection of the window of the convention center, which is another thing you do when you're like high in public a lot, is you're like looking off like car windows and stuff like that.
Looking around, just head on the swivel.
And then I looked and I saw that there was like 5 cops like directly behind me. And I'm like, oh shit. All right. All right. So keep cool. Yeah, nobody knows. Listen, I'll be fine. Just mind your P's and Q's. Don't do anything unusual, and you'll be fine.
I'm just a guy out for a walk.
Yeah, I'm out for literally all I'm going to do is walk along this very crowded intersection and then get into a boat directly in the water and then sail off to somewhere. So anywho,
I'm just picturing you while you're going through this, starting to walk like Theresa May across the stage, just like
that's pretty much what happens. Every cop you see, you just get a little bit more like, "Hi, constable.
I'm totally normal. There's nothing going on here.
Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Have you seen Cats?"
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then finally I get to a intersection and I do the ultimate of checking who's behind you move.
Like,
no, I pull out my phone and I'm looking at it, and then I sort of like mutter to myself like, "Am I on Fayette right now?" Yeah. So in case somebody overhears you, like, I do believe I need to be on Baltimore Street. And then you look down, and then you can do that half turn in the direction of like
the street sign.
Looking for street signs. Don't mind me gesticulating wildly. And then you're like looking up, and then I get a chance to like sort of fully turn around to see who's behind me. And it's not only just 6 police officers; it's like 5 police officers and the police commissioner. I felt like I was so like I was right in the middle of it, like. The police commissioner would love nothing more than to be able to arrest some pothead on 4th of July.
Yes.
Haul me out in front of
getting back in the streets.
Press conference and just be like, "This little dirtbag."
Our streets are a little safer now that this junkie's off the street.
Some report, Jane Miller's out there going like, yeah, so being high is not a crime. What did you arrest him for? Menace to America on 4th of July of all days.
How dare he?
You decided to get high and watch fireworks. How dare he? This isn't America I grew up in.
First of all,
I don't want to be a part of the America.
It's not being a menace. It's disorderly conduct, which is very much the police commissioner being like, hey, what's up? And you'd be like, "Hey, fuck off," and not realizing it's a police commissioner, and him being like, "All right, that's being disorderly. Come here.
Why are you wearing a white shirt and a hat?"
Oh, that's right. He does wear the white shirt and the hat.
Yeah.
Now I'm picturing what's his name from.
Well, the one that was behind me was Bealfield.
Oh, I forgot how long ago.
Yeah.
So many Baltimore commissioners ago.
That was like 7 commissioners ago.
Yeah. 7 commissioners and 7 years ago, actually.
Yeah, pretty much.
Strange. Very strange. But anyway, wow, that was a long story.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. I love that story because after a while, you're
getting to the point, though, of what I was trying to say before we got off sidetracked with my story.
Was the point that sometimes you muddy yourself?
Is this Fayette? I do believe I have to be on Grand.
I really hope you do that downtown in LA when you are around cops too. That's awesome.
Well, here I don't give a shit.
Oh, that's true. They don't give a shit.
Just be high as I want to be, walking down the street like, "Hello, officers." It's like, oh, Corey's taking his morning weed walk.
Yeah, to be fair, because there's a guy across the street taking a shit in a garbage can. So he's like, I got bigger problems, my friend.
It's like the one time that the Baltimore City cop drove by and caught me like in the window. Like I was just like sitting there like. And he like looked at me and he like
wait. What did you look like when you're sitting in the window?
So let me see if I can do this with like a. He just like saw me up in the window, and then his whole reaction was just like, "Dude, I don't got time for this." Like just like driving away.
Come on, man.
Just don't make me fucking stop. Like, please. I just don't.
It's like watching for 2 seconds. Like, don't pull a gun out. All right,
cool.
Down the alleyway. Gonna go to Sunoco.
Get myself a cigarette and a donut. Yeah, but getting to the point.
Yes, of course.
I was just in Vegas. Vegas is the absolute king of not knowing what the hell they want right now. They have legalized recreational marijuana for anyone in Las Vegas. But,
which I think we took advantage of last time we were there. Yeah.
But they have also, the hotels are so worried about like them causing a foul of anything, and then their gaming license getting revoked, or like they can't have as many tables as they used to have, and blah, 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 blah. They are not going to mess around with this one bit until
Everybody's clear about it.
Everyone's clear.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like there's sort of like this Vegas thing of like, so for legal reasons, if someone called into the to Andy Nelson's when I worked there, and they said, "Hey, can we bring some beer with us or a bottle of wine or something like that?" For legally, I can't say come in here and drink because we don't have a license to accommodate that.
Yes,
but we also do not care if you do it as long as you don't make a scene.
Yes.
So I used to say, what my line back would be like, well, if we don't know about it, it's not our problem.
Okay.
And most people would get that, and they'd be like, "Oh, I gotcha."
They're gonna fill up a cup like this, with beer, and come in with it.
Right. Hopefully, not a clear Fat Tuesday cup.
Maybe one that says Fat Tuesday is a little on the nose. Yeah,
a cup that says not beer.
Yeah,
good enough for me. I would have let you in with the beer cup. I'm just saying. I don't care.
But that's what the hotel.
No, but the thing is, like, I just you can't literally ask me if you can bring it in because I'm going to say no.
Right.
At the end of the day, I'm going to say no. So if you like ask a hotel, it says like, "Hey, listen, we're in Vegas for the weekend. We're thinking about smoking a little pot in our room. Is that okay?" Not. No. If you can't even bring it onto the premises, I don't care what you think is legal here. And then, like, she's like giving you the wink, like,
he's like, I get it. Jesus.
No pot in the hotel. I get it. But it's like the same thing. Like, don't let us catch you. Like, essentially, is like, I think all the Vegas places have to put on like a huge front, and then they're like, just don't let us catch you. All right, just do it privately. And if it doesn't affect how much you gamble, we don't really care. Like,
but I mean, it is weird because I think that the line they're walking is a hotel room. Does that meet the definition of a private place that was set by the Nevada legislature?
Right.
And the Gaming Commission is in some ways more powerful than the actual legislature itself.
Yeah.
And they could say, "Oh, well, we don't think you've met the definition here." So
the reason why it's so serious is literally every hotel does it.
Yeah.
There's not like Circus where they're like putting out ads going like, "Hey, like to smoke weed in Vegas? Come for Circus. We don't give a shit." Because like if they get busted for something, there's no coming back from that.
To be fair, I think I did see one that said that smokers were welcome, but did not have a casino. It's one of those like off-strip places where it's just a hotel.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's your inn.
There's a lot of places that are like sort of like in a lot of these constituencies that have legal weed. There's been a huge like underground Airbnb business that goes around like who allows smoking and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if you go to Denver, rather than getting a hotel room, just get an Airbnb from this guy who lives in Denver.
And he knows you're going to smoke weed.
And he knows you're going to smoke weed in his place, and he's fine with it. Yep. Like, that's sort of how it goes these days. But, Vegas, you want to be on the strip or as close to as possible.
Yeah, I think, though, that those kind of places have an ability to fill a gap. Because, one, you don't have a casino, so the Gaming Commission you don't care so much about. And the reality is no one's going to prosecute you. Who's going to come in and arrest somebody on your property?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's, like, catch one guy with a joint in a hotel room, like, freeze!
Yeah. Although, wait, where was the guy? No, it wasn't in Vegas. It was Arizona.
Oh, are you talking about the guy who got shot by the police, like crawling on his hands and knees?
That was Arizona, right?
Yeah, but that was also somebody thought he had a gun, but he was like,
he wasn't using.
What do you call it? Exterminator.
Yeah,
like an exterminating gun. Yeah,
pellet gun. Yeah. Anyway, so I think they could fill a really well needed gap. The problem is, they're not on the strip, and Vegas is a bitch if you're not on the strip.
Yeah.
So. Speaking of which, we're
off the strip. What am I, a local?
I know. Right? Although you have to go off the strip to get marijuana because they are not allowed to be on the strip.
There is one place on the strip.
Is there?
Yeah.
Do they actually have an advertisement on the strip?
Yeah.
I thought the legislature said you couldn't do that.
Like, I mean, like, really, honest to God, Vegas, I could get a fucking woman to come to my hotel room and have sex with me. Like, why can't I smoke weed in my own? Like,
just so everyone's listening, that was Corey's voice, the one saying he brought a woman to his room to have sex.
I'm saying I could.
Could.
I know how these words work. I could have had a woman come to my hotel room, and that would have been 100% legal with Vegas.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's totally. I mean, like, nobody's going to stop that woman from coming up to my hotel room.
True. Yes, but prostitution is legal in Corinne County, Canada.
Yeah, but I'm not buying sex. I'm just buying a dance that got a little out of hand. You know, like,
nope. You cannot do that.
Anything happens in Vegas. I'm just not for me. I'm just saying. But like,
just remember, Corey was in Vegas by himself a few weeks ago for several days
at a convention for nerds.
Convention. Yeah.
Anyway, Mueller Report.
Oh, are we jumping on there?
Yeah.
Let's skip over a couple of things really quickly.
Okay.
Number one, let's switch to the next logical topic after talking about marijuana. Jesus. It's Easter weekend. How are you celebrating Easter weekend, Corey?
I'm waking up tomorrow.
Just like Jesus? You're going to rise from that?
I'm going to rise tomorrow. There will be points in the night where people think I haven't made it, and then by the morning it'll be okay.
Yeah, it'll be up. Yeah. Oh, no, that's Cinco de Mayo. Coming up in a few weeks. Oh, by the way, I said we were going to touch on that. Let's touch on that real quickly. We're Saturday today, Monday usually, Sunday in a few weeks.
For May
Cinco
5th.
de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so May the 5th, the episode will be live on May the 5th. We'll be recording then. You can tune in here on Facebook.com/O The Anthem and check out the episode there. We were going to be doing our traditional Cinco de Mayo episode, which is Drinko de Mayo, number 6, episode 6. So looking forward to that.
Yes, indeed.
I'm not really, because I'm just going to ruin my Sunday and then be hungover on Monday, which is not something I want to do.
You know, I know my problem, and it happens every single year. I say I'm smarter than this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fall into all the traps.
Yep.
I'm not going to say the words just to make people happy and start drinking. Fuck this. It's about my liver.
Yes.
And I can't do 17 shots in an hour anymore. That's just not the place I am anymore.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, like I would just be like 6 in and I'd just be like, well, you know where you can find more entertaining comment.
Or
Oh, the anthem.com.
You're going to lean back in your chair, wipe your eyes and go, which is still my favorite sound ever produced.
Yeah. That was after 17 shots.
Yes, it was.
But and then every year I sort of said, like, we're 20 minutes into the show and we've only done our introductory shots. And then I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to throw one out there just to get the fans. It's like, what's another shot? And just be like, oh, you're going to drink that? Fuck. Why did I do that? And then I take the shot and then immediately forget that my plan the whole time was not to drink.
It's so good when it hits your lips. I just want another one.
And then you're done and you're just like, oh, hey, Jesus. What are you doing here?
All right. Yes. So check that out in a few weeks. Cinco de Mayo episode. I think that we will have a friend of the show, Roberto, come on and do the
birthday boy.
Yeah, it'll be his birthday, and he can do the refereeing for the episode and make sure that we are following along. Not pouring the shots though, because he is an insane shot pourer.
We're gonna have to get regulation size shots for the occasion.
I don't want the double.
Like,
we're getting too old for double shot glasses. That cannot happen. We need just like a small thimble. Let's get a couple thimbles, and that's what.
Give him whatever you get at a Ravens game when you order a shot. It's just like in a little.
Oh, it's the little plastic cup. It's like that was refreshing. Great. Yes. Oh,
it could double as a cap for your tooth.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so Easter weekend.
Yes.
Just in case your mother and father are watching this, where are you going to be celebrating?
Where am I praying?
Yes.
I just can't. Like right now, like I'm so like I don't know. I just don't want to get involved with the Catholic Church right now. Is that so much to ask? Like I just feel like anytime I get like even a little bit more committed, like I feel like Charlie Brown in the football and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing saying that you can't be a perfectly fine Catholic or Christian and not go to church. And I honestly, really I think Jesus would not be approving of the Catholic Church right now either, and a lot of this stuff. So if that wants to be your standard bearer, then I think like, you know, if Jesus saw Spotlight, he would not be happy. Like,
to be fair, he was watching the whole time and he let it happen.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, there's also a part of like how I've always felt about the divine, because I don't like the idea of like me just like leaning down and praying to Jesus and then saying like, please, Jesus, I need that job to come through for tomorrow, because if I can't, then I don't get rent. Thank you, Jesus. And then when it happens, it feels like, you know, God like personally intervened in your life to make sure that you got that job, which you were probably going to get anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, I like to think of him as more of like I set it in motion and let's see what happens kind of thing. And then maybe from time to time there will be like, you know, a child with leukemia or something like that I personally touch.
If he gets enough likes on Facebook?
Wow, no, I mean, just in, you know, like I imagine that the idea of like the Holy Ghost sort of like going like, hey Jesus, there's this kid with leukemia that could really use your help. He's just like, all right, yeah, why not?
Okay.
Moves on to the, you know, it's like just getting reports of different things, you know? But certainly not Facebook likes or any of that nonsense.
I do think one thing I would really
or like putting out how like I feel like the other thing about this too is that like it the way I've always thought about heaven. This is weird. This is a really deep podcast. The way I've sort of always thought about heaven is that like there's sort of like like Catholicism has it in your mind a little bit, or like God has it in your mind a little bit, so he knows when you walk up whether or not you're like a good person who tried and like made a difference or tried to make a difference, or,
sure,
or if you're just like a total shithead but you have the Jesus tattoo and you go to church every Sunday and you threw rocks at a girl trying to get an abortion or something like that. I mean, like I feel like God knows what's real and what's not. So I always felt like any kind of like you're allowed into heaven or you're not allowed into heaven is just based off of whether or not you're a good person on the inside and not what other people necessarily think.
Okay.
Like there was only going to be one decider at the end of the day, kind of like made me think that there had to be some sort of like, it can't be like a baseball referee where he's off like 0.2% of the time. Like he's got to be 100% of the time. He's God. He knows better. And if I don't make it, then I was probably a shitty person. I don't know.
Can I tell you, I do wish Jesus would come down and intervene in my life sometimes. I wish that every time we sat down to do this, he would come down, reach down, and touch the mix pre and turn it on to make sure it was running before every episode. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying this episode. It is rare form for me. For Corey, it's pretty standard. We are now recording. If you just heard the sound quality go up exponentially, it might be because Corey just turned on the recorder.
This is part of the reason why I don't like why I would only imbibe when I'm like here by myself and nothing
nothing to worry about.
No responsibilities. Like the reason why this show is funny is because I never like am ever off at all during the podcast, unless it is Drinko de Mayo or this episode.
Okay.
And I would totally forget about that all day if I was like on set and high and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't work high, sound mixers. Also, I told myself 3 times to check that. And I was sitting here while you were talking, like, what was I supposed to do?
I did it outside. I fucking was outside. I was just like, you know what? I should really come inside and just turn on
just so it's on.
Just so it's on. Just so I don't have to think about it again. Like, I was about to smoke a cigarette. I'm just like, you know what? I should just go in for a second. Yeah, I know. I'll remember.
Yeah. Nope. No. Well, speaking of things that,
get forgotten.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get forgotten very shortly. Coachella's this weekend. I just wanted to mention to people who may not know, or people who are like, oh, I wish I could be at Coachella. Oh, you look so great. The guy who makes all the money from Coachella, who is the CEO of Golden Voice, which is a live festival company. He donates millions of dollars a year to anti-LGBTQ campaigns, pro-gun campaigns. And listen, I'm pro-gun, but I mean like pro-gun where I'm like, that's a little much. Like, hey, why don't we give
every baby comes with an Uzi?
Yeah, every baby comes with a fully automatic gun. And I'm like, maybe that's a little much. And why would we want background tests? Because crazy people shouldn't have guns. So there's that. But he also fights equality measures everywhere with his money. So I hope you enjoy those Coachella tickets and your support of these kind of measures.
Yeah.
Basically the far right. If you have never supported the far right, then you must never have been to Coachella. Because if you have, you have. Thank you.
Some of that money goes to Trump, just so you know. Like,
I mean, basically, yeah.
I mean, even if it's an infinitesimal amount, like based off of the total amount you spend, still remember that by going to Coachella, that you probably gave $5 to Trump.
Yep.
So,
and you did it for the gram. Mm-hmm. Sold out your country for the gram. So,
speaking of that. Mueller Report.
Yeah, Mueller Report.
Selling out the country for the presidency.
I was going to say, I wish I had a Mueller Report video I could drop.
It's too late now. We should have.
Yeah, it's all right.
We could have been doing it for months.
Did you know what happened yesterday?
What?
Guess who went back to work yesterday? Robert Mueller in the office again. So makes you wonder what's going on there. Because if you remember, Kenneth Starr turned in a report on Whitewater, went back to work. Yeah. And then what came out of that? The investigation into the thing that actually led to impeachment. But,
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the lying on the grand jury and the thing with Monica Lewinsky. But
Lying in the deposition.
deposition. Yeah. So anyway, Mueller's back at work. But yes, the Mueller report is out. I did not read any of it except for like excerpts that people were posting.
I couldn't help myself. I watched a lot of CNN that day. Not only did I watch CNN, I flipped it around a lot. No offense to the people who like MSNBC. I'm sure it's a lovely channel and all. It is so hard to watch that fucking channel for more than 5 minutes. For me, it's just so like unnecessarily aggressive, and that's coming from somebody who listens to CNN like or watches CNN a lot. Like it just felt like everyone was screaming all day.
Yeah.
Fox, interestingly enough, I was watching, and it was a lot of what I was kind of hoping for. It was a lot of Republicans who were very disappointed and saying this isn't a great day for the president, but then sort of like looking at it from a subjective kind of legal view, okay. I think there was a lot of on CNN, like what could this redaction on page 28 possibly mean? And I'm just like, you're going down the wrong. Like if you want to honestly break this thing down, like you got to have a couple lawyers in here just to explain what this is. Yeah. I mean, like, cause it's a legally written document too, which is the other part about like all these, you want to talk about the House trials, like going out there and buying like the paper copy of the Mueller report. Like you're going to be like,
I got it.
All right.
I got it. Let me dive into this.
Page 1. I'm ready. On or about the date of, and oh, fuck. On or about the date of May 3rd, 2015 by the Court of New York in the special subsection of, and I'm like, nope, not.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Rob, read this. Tell me what it says.
But I did. I was watching. We went out for dinner last night. The entire time we were at dinner, there was CNN on the TV in the corner.
Yeah.
They did an entire hour-long show while we were sitting there on not quotes from the Mueller report, but quotes which had a citation to a footnote that was redacted. And who might be the source and what might the redactions mean?
Yeah.
So basically, like, does this mean there's still cases ongoing? And is this... And I'm like...
Yes.
You're guessing right now. You're just guessing.
Well, so the one thing that we do know, and this is for all the Trump people who are saying this is good news for Trump, no. Basically, there were redactions on 12 of 14 possible counts of obstruction.
Yes. Yeah.
Which basically means that they're redacted because they're still open investigations. So basically what we learned is that things that were not in the direct purview of Mueller when it came to either Russian interference or obstruction of justice was sent off to somebody who it would matter for. So the election fraud with Cohen was going to, or the campaign donation. Campaign finance violations.
Yep.
That didn't really either fit into Russia or the thing, or the obstruction of justice. So that went to the Southern District of New York. I could be convinced that there seemed to be a lot of time where Mueller was investing in a lot of time into Trump's finances and the Trump organization's finances, and Wasselberg and Cohen and stuff like that. So I'd find it hard to believe that there isn't somebody working somewhere on a charge.
Like a tax?
Yeah, like a tax charge or something like that, or, an improper donation, blah, blah, blah. My long view take on this whole Trump situation that we've let ourselves in at this point is if you feel like you really want justice, I think the best course of action is just to, if you're the Democrats, spend the next year and a half, like, bringing up all the things that people just can't stand about Trump, like when cabinet secretaries are like taking private jets for like 30-minute flights.
Yep.
At the cost of like $1 million
for
to the
meeting,
taxpayer. Yeah.
For their meeting to get back to their government job.
Right. So. I mean, like when those sort of things come out, like people are just like, oh my God, Trump, like what's up with this? Drain the swamp, not, and then Trump has to fire that person. And then there's no way you get over that one. That's like an easy win every single time.
Yep.
I would stay away from like Russia collusion sort of stuff because it's just like at this point, there might be one piece of evidence that totally puts everything into perspective, but you never know when you're going to find that piece of evidence or if you ever find that evidence, like there's been so many murder cases in this country that have been tied to like, well, we really have a strong hunch that this guy did it because there's so many things that seem like he did it, but we don't have that one piece of evidence that really ties it together and says there's no doubt that it was him,
right?
That it was that person who did it,
right?
Come on through.
Oh, hey, friend of the show, Roberto is here, invading the studio. Just getting back from Hot Latin Nights. Make sure you check out @latin.nights on Instagram to see pictures of Roberto on set.
Yeah. He's just gonna go.
He's just gonna sit and stare at us.
I don't want to say anything.
So I don't know.
I've done all day saying things.
I don't know if he knows what day it is in.
Or why it's
hey,
important.
picture of me with Einstein is on the thing. Anyway, easily distracted. Mueller Report. Yes. Shit. What was I going to say? What were we talking about just a second ago?
Mostly the other cases that could potentially come from.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, here was my point. Don Jr. First thing he pointed out was
I'm sorry. I know exactly where it was. I was building it to a point. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Basically, what I was saying is that I think that if you really hate Trump and you really want him to face some sort of punishment for all the things that he's done, your best course of action is just to hammer him for the next year and a half with all the things that people want to hear about, not the stuff that people don't want to hear about. Find a good electable candidate for president, for the Democratic side. Electable. Just somebody who can get enough votes to win. Beat Trump in the election, and then finally, as soon as he's out of office, as soon as he gets in Air Force One and what's the Marine One,
yeah,
and flies back to New York, then he'll be met at the tarmac with 15 different things that he will be arrested for. I mean, this is essentially with the conspirator one or whatever it was, or what was the individual one on the Cohen things.
Yeah.
Basically, they have a waiting indictment for the president as soon as he's not the president anymore. That's the one thing that's holding up this whole thing. That's why Barr said in his memo that they couldn't charge him and that he was off scot-free and stuff like that. That's why the Mueller report basically said it's not my decision, it's Congress's decision.
Yes.
And now we just ran out of time. That's basically if you're a Democrat who thinks that you needed to impeach Trump to show people that you can't do this sort of thing. Well, you kind of lost your opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
That really had to happen the first time he did anything that crossed the line.
Even then it's hard though, because listen, every time a president has been impeached in this country, when has it happened? Let's see. There's been 4 impeachments.
Yeah.
When have they occurred?
I mean, they've never actually occurred.
No, impeachment, no convictions. But when did the impeachment proceedings begin?
Oh, well, I mean, in Clinton, it happened in the second term.
Okay.
Early second term.
Nixon?
Early second term.
Okay. Johnson?
Oh, God.
Early second term.
Yeah.
And then again, Adams, early second term.
Yeah.
So the point is that even if something bad happens on the first day, it's really hard to get that going in the first term. And it's kind of built that way. By the way, the system's meant so that if one outlier happens, that's why senators are 6 years, Congress is 2, and the president is 4. Senate will never have to worry about complete rollover while one president in one term is in office. And the Congress can be rolled over in the middle of a president's term to get more done. It was designed that way on purpose. But the reason that we have an impeachment really is that if the people are dumb enough to elect that person again, and Congress can prove fault.
I mean, it's whether or not they want to at this point. Well, that's really the.
But my point to Don Jr. was his first tweet of the day was report read, no evidence, no collusion.
Yeah,
and I saw a reference to it kind of in my timeline, and I thought, oh, these are the same things. But it would be as if I showed you, here's some CIA documents, November 22nd, 1963. And I slide it over to you, and I'm like, here's an agenda of all of the missions they had going on at that time. And you pick it up and you read it, and you see, here's the days, 11/22/63, and there are 40 missions they have going on anywhere worldwide.
Yeah.
3 of them are redacted, and you look at me and you're like, well, clearly they didn't shoot Kennedy. And you're like, why? Like, well, there's no evidence here that they shot Kennedy. There's 3 things that are redacted in there. You think killing the president would be one of the things you redact? Like,
it was actually added on after the fact with a Post-it note, but they could also take it off, so it wouldn't be evidence anymore. That's how they get you. You write it on the original piece of paper, and you're in trouble. Put it on a Post-it note, take it off after you kill the president. It's not evidence anymore.
But the number one thing that
throw it in the trash. You're fine.
The first comment I got was a real hot take from a reporter who was just like, "They might as well have not given us this with all the redactions." Not true. There was a lot to read, but there was also a lot redacted out of it.
Also, the other part of this is, of anybody who shouldn't be saying shit right now, Don Trump Jr. should be at the top. Yeah. Like Don Trump Jr. should have just read a little bit of the Mueller report that just talked about him and Russian collusion, and just like said like, I'm done playing politics for the rest of my life, and gone back to being like a rich kid and not worry about shit. Like shut down his Twitter account, because like basically what Mueller, the legalese translation of what Mueller said was, if Don Jr. wasn't so fucking dumb and so fucking lucky that they actually didn't have anything to offer him, like if Russia would have walked into that room and said like, oh, we have many things to tell you about Hillary Clinton, and it's like, yeah, like what? Well, I mean, we don't really have anything on Hillary Clinton. It's like, well, this whole meeting was a waste. It's just like, well, here's $1,000 for the campaign. That would have gotten Trump Jr. in jail. That would have been enough.
He's so dumb. He had a meeting with people who had no information and therefore cannot be guilty.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle of like.
Oh, to go back to the opening in our talk today, that is why there are special laws that make copycat drugs included in.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, even if you're dumb enough to buy a pound of baby powder, you're going to be charged as if it was cocaine. We just don't do that with literally anything else. Like, treason. If you're dumb enough to take a meeting that is treasonous, it doesn't matter that it doesn't end in treason.
I like
it still should be
the
treason.
Other thing too, I heard that it wasn't even on like CNN or any news network. It was on like a podcast that I really enjoyed was campaign finance law is actually one of the most interesting ones, because it's one of the only parts of the law where ignorance of the law can be an excuse.
Yes.
It's so narrow, but it's like, I didn't know I couldn't do that is a legal version of like getting out of campaign finance things.
So long as it's your first time.
Yeah.
But you get one. We'll give you one. Like,
right.
Wait, you mean I wasn't allowed to donate $1 million to one campaign? What? No, you can donate to PACs, but you can't donate that to the candidate. Oh, well, no, I know.
Sorry.
Wait, so I'm not going to go to jail or
it's like,
anything?
just don't do it again.
Don't do it again. It is fine. Okay.
I'm sorry, officer. I didn't know I couldn't do that. Well, now you know. I didn't know I couldn't do that. That's good, right? Because I didn't know I couldn't do that.
By the way, I showed people. I was trying to show them a video of Dave Chappelle from 2001 before the Chappelle Show started. And I had it queued up with the YouTube screen on, and people were like, who is that? And I played like 2 seconds of it, and then I stopped and I said, wait, did you say who is that? And I realized there are people alive for whom there was never a skinny Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Because he was like rail thin.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about Half Baked, and we were supposed to watch it. I think I forgot to do that after work yesterday. We were gonna watch Half Baked.
It's funny. I was on YouTube. I was looking for something to pass like 10 minutes worth of time, and I was just like going through all the different videos, like trying to find something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ooh, old Chappelle Show bit, and I put it on, and like Roberto's like walking up, like, what is this? And I'm just like,
oh, so good.
You don't know what Chappelle Show?
Key and Peele, but before there was Key and Peele.
He was just like, that guy looks like Eddie Murphy. I'm like, that's Eddie Murphy's brother. Was he supposed to be doing an Eddie Murphy impression? No.
That's him.
No, the whole bit is talking about him, his brother, who has stories. It's Charlie Murphy's true Hollywood stories. And he's just like, I don't understand. I don't know who this Rick James guy is. Why is this so funny to you? Why is he like, fuck your couch, and you're laughing hysterically like an idiot? Like, fuck your couch.
Oh, man. Yeah. Anyway, so I showed him Dave Chappelle, and I was appalled, and I don't know how we got off on that topic now.
Gun store, liquor store, liquor store. Where are you taking me?
Baby, inside.
Shut up, I got kids to feed. Oh. It's an old limousine.
How old is this limousine? I'm rolling the windows down, man. By the way, people who don't know what this gesture means.
Kids who work at your office.
I just realized, I wonder if I go up to them and I'm like, hey, if they would know that means go roll down the window.
Finishing up on the Mueller report here.
Sorry. Yeah.
One other thing. Rob and I like to fancy ourselves political science students.
Well, technically, I have a bachelor's degree in it.
True.
So.
We oftentimes talk on the show about things that we would do based off of like our own how we would read the tea leaves if we were in that position. If we were the attorney general right now and we knew that the Mueller report was going to be released, how we would play it. Mm-hmm. And by the bar letter,
well, number one, I don't send that.
Both of us, when we originally read that, we're like, all right, so maybe there's a full version of the report that has all the goods.
Yeah.
But we know, as the attorney general, that the next redacted version is still going to basically say this. And it's not going to elaborate on this.
Yeah.
Because if I release this letter and then the heavily redacted Mueller report where people don't even understand what's going on, then I'm in the clear. And we get this whole fake news and it's all over and exonerated and blah, blah, blah for another news cycle. And then if you get two, you basically won. Like, they're not going to be able to, like, come back and be like, wait a minute, we saw... It's 2024 and we saw the full Mueller report and you were lying. Yeah. It's like, oh, sorry. You know,
by the way, Pentagon Papers. If anybody were, please remember the Pentagon or the Panama Papers.
Yeah.
Remember the Panama Papers, please.
Yeah. How that happened for like a week because like everyone was able to like quietly shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, so when we heard that the Mueller report was going to be released, or the redacted version, we were just like, all right, so clearly this is not going to be of any interest to us. It's going to be a longer version of what we got released.
Yeah, of the Barr letter.
Because Barr would be so fucking ridiculously stupid to release anything other than basically a longer version of the Barr letter.
Yep.
And boy, did we not know that he had the potential to fall so far. It's like when you talk to somebody who doesn't know anything about like politics or how the government works or anything, like where you walk up and you say like, did you know the attorney general is actually the attorney for the people and not for the president?
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, I didn't even know that.
I don't know that he knows that.
Honestly, it's like, what did he want? Like Trump to just be like, hey, you did a good job on that letter. That's not going to help us at all.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't know.
It got us like a week of coverage, but then literally, like as soon as I feel like watching the faces of the people on CNN, like when they actually got the information that was in the Mueller report, going like, what the fuck was Barr doing?
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the thing is like, I look at it, I'm like, I almost think he didn't read the report before he wrote the letter. Just like writing the letter with his best wishes. Yeah. Like at the bottom, he's like, best wishes, your attorney general. Like, but it's almost as if he didn't read the report because I don't know. And I think that the redacted report had to be them like submitting it to him. Like, sir, there was no way for us to redact this so that it matched your letter. Like, there's just too far apart. Or else it's like, here's a the at the top of the page and then president further down. Like, no, we can't do that. So,
17 pages later, like the president is not guilty.
Yes, there we go. We've redacted it correctly. Hey, but that'd be what you have to do.
So I'm sure Barr is going to have to answer for that at some point. That's another one that with so many Republicans in the Senate who don't give a shit, it's hard to think that there's any punishment. I mean, basically, like the House votes to censure him or something like that, and then
they can impeach him too.
Well, I mean, they can, but I mean, like, I doubt maybe they think like, oh, yeah, Pelosi has the great idea. It's like, well, he did something really despicable, so maybe we just instead of impeach him for it, we just censure him for it.
Yeah.
Then the Republican Senate will have to get on board with that. Like,
well, I think it's a matter of maybe
much like Steve King, where it's just like, oh, we're all going to censure him. And then the vote never comes up and then it just never happens. He gets back on all his thing.
Yep.
Just like wait enough time for.
And his first public comment, also racist, just like his last one. Yeah, you would think.
You people trying to bury me.
You didn't know I was a seed and here I am growing.
Growing a proud tree of whiteum.
But fuck, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Barr report doesn't matter. I don't know. I imagine that the redacted report has to be the best version of the report for the president. That's generally my thought. So it still doesn't match the letter, and also it means that the completely unredacted report probably is much worse than we would have thought based on the first reactions from the Barr letter.
Well, also the other thing I like too is that John Oliver brought this up like with the Barr memo too, where he's just like, you don't realize all the news that had sort of come out from the Mueller report, like before it even got released, that, like news organizations were reporting on. So if the thing that you did was, or if the Barr report was basically all the things that we had learned on the news about like, a Trump Tower in Moscow and all the other little tiny details, and it would feel like a much bigger deal. But because we got this news sort of like fed to us along the way, it doesn't feel like as big of an event. But I don't know. I still think that basically, Trump's got to get beaten for you to do anything about it. So if you really want to get the president in jail for something, beat him in 2020.
Yeah, I was going to go back. My point about Bob Barr was they probably won't get to censure him because I bet the president makes him resign. When it looks like they're going to get a vote, he's like, I don't want this. Yeah. This turns into a 3-week-long news cycle of like, will they, won't they in the Senate to confirm the censure, which most definitely will pass in the House. And he makes him resign.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say before. And yes, at this point, even if you wanted to impeach him, the last impeachment proceedings we had were Clinton's, and they lasted nearly 5 months. So we're about to come up on summer recess. After that, they might be able to get it done before the end of the year, but other than that, you are then in an election year, and the likelihood is the key people you would need to push this through as a Democrat will not be in Washington most of the time. They're going to be Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
Probably a bunch of people who are going to be at home.
There's an awful lot of senators running for president. I think it's such an unusual.
Technically, that's the historical natural step.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it hasn't happened it's sort of taken a shift since
the executive.
It's
like, hey, who has executive?
I mean,
experience?
basically Reagan winning, or Carter was a governor, right?
Carter was a governor.
Yeah. So I mean, like, and Ford was a governor, right?
Ford was a governor. That's why he was chosen.
Yeah. Nixon was the last one who was in the Senate.
And Nixon ran for governor because he thought the governorship was a better way up. But I mean, listen, when the shift in the executive, so Franklin Roosevelt, who was there for 4 terms, and then Truman for a term plus 1 year, and he was a senator, but Truman was a senator. Harry S. Truman, senator.
I thought he came right from military to.
No, wait, Truman, senator. After him was Eisenhower, who was a general. Yeah. Then he, did.
Yeah, because they didn't like how things were going with Truman because it was like too by the book and they wanted to go outside the course and get the general in there.
And Eisenhower had a vice president name.
Oh, God. Eisenhower.
He's going to be very unhappy when I tell him.
Nixon, right? Yeah.
Richard Milhouse Nixon was the vice president for Eisenhower.
Yeah.
And then lost in 1960 to
Kennedy,
who was a senator.
Yeah.
But also, more importantly, was a Kennedy and old enough to run for president, which is really the important information there. Johnson, senator.
And then Nixon.
Then Nixon, vice president, also senator. After Nixon
and
was...
in the House.
And in the House.
Yeah, Nixon was the only one to be in all 3.
Nope. What? No.
Are we sure?
William Howard Taft was president, senator,
and a Supreme Court justice.
And a Supreme Court justice. He's been in all 4
bodies.
Was he
in the House too?
He's been in all 4 bodies.
Maybe he was the last one to do all 3. Yeah.
Anyway, we're getting lost in the weeds. The important thing is, yes,
lost in the weeds.
The number one place to become the president tends to be the vice presidency. After that, it was the Senate. Now it's becoming a governorship. Clinton, Bush. We should have done it that way. Clinton, Bush.
Obama was a senator.
So Obama was a senator. Before Bush was Bush the 41st, but he was a vice president to a governor. Yeah. And then before that was a governor, and before that was a governor. So yes, it was all governors up until Obama.
Yeah.
Or vice presidents.
Interesting. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Do you have anything else on the list there?
Yes. Why were we even talking about that?
I don't know.
Because you need to vote him out. It's
Yeah.
not going to work. You're not going to be able to get him out of office. So just get him voted out. Half the people who are running need to stop running. Also, Joe Biden, you shouldn't run. Do not run.
But Joe Biden hasn't ever won an electoral vote, but a single Democratic race anywhere other than Delaware. So, like,
he's run in like 9 different decades for president of the United States. I don't really understand.
You know, the problem is that I feel like I don't have the right to tell anyone not to run. But like at the same time, I feel like people need to have a much quicker hook. And I feel like everyone wants to wait until Iowa just to figure out like where they stand. Yeah. But I mean, like some people should just realize that it's just not in the cards. Like, I mean, like, Kristen Gillibrand is a good example. Like where she's just one of many people who are in this race and she doesn't have a campaigning advantage and she's not getting enough money to compete in like the general election when it comes time. Yeah. Like she's really just hoping that she says something somewhere along the line between now and Iowa that raises her profile enough so that people vote for her over Cory Booker and puts her in the top 5. And now she's in the top 5 and she can have a conversation like she stands on the same terms as Bernie. Yep. And maybe the fundraising picks up. Like all these things are like just way too lottery pick. Like you need to like
Iowa, though.
I mean, like, and we're still like a year away from like serious votes being tabulated and anything. So like,
Iowa's this summer. The first vote in Iowa is this summer.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it was the straw vote.
Which is the straw poll.
Yeah, that's where you start knocking people out, though. The first time in Iowa is where you start knocking people out.
Yeah,
because that's where the people who got in too early and didn't have the legs.
See, the problem is that like I you say something like you don't make the top 5 in Iowa, you just back out. But I mean, like, there's like a part of me that thinks that like Buttigieg might be like an 8 seat. Like,
no, he needs to stay in. I heard a conversation between one of my coworkers, one of my employees, and her 1%er parents on the phone.
Yeah.
This is what they said about Pete Buttigieg. Well, I don't really like that he's gay, but he's married and he's been married for a while. So I guess it really doesn't matter who you're married to. From a very conservative, very religious 1%er couple, basically excusing the gay part because he is married. And why did they do that? Because he's a veteran who understands conservative economics and doesn't seem to be supporting socialism like all of those other Democrats. If he can do that, if Democrats just notice that, hey, there's a bunch of non-crazy Republicans who are really taking a liking to this guy, and maybe, just maybe, if you pick that kind of candidate, you have someone who can get everyone together because he's secretly leftist in the best ways and smart enough to not show conservatives how that is.
Can I know this might be a bit of a fringe opinion, but Trump got elected off the boardroom of the Apprentice. Yeah. So what can one really say? I think the resemblance between Buttigieg and Jim Parsons from Big Bang Project,
yes,
or Big Bang
Theory,
yes, is like, I feel like people look at him and they're just like, he's really smart, just like whatever the character is from Big Bang Theory, like
Sheldon Cooper. Yeah.
He's smart like Sheldon. And he looks like him too. Maybe we should have that guy for president.
By the way,
did you know he's gay? Who, Sheldon or?
Get lost in the metaphor.
Sheldon or Buttigieg?
I mean, yeah, Sheldon seems like he's kind of gay.
I mean, Sheldon is not gay, but Jim Parsons, the guy who plays him, is gay. But Buttigieg is gay too. It's like, how many people are gay in this?
I heard somebody's not gay.
There's 2 people and there's 3 people in the example, and there's 2 who are gay and there's 1 who isn't. I don't know. I just vote for Pete.
Yeah, one of them's running for president. I assume he's not the gay one. So, all right,
he can't be the gay one. Let's go. Get on.
Whatever it takes, though. Like, that's what I'm saying. Push him. But if that's what it takes, be smart enough to say, hey, these conservative Republicans are saying he's good enough for me. And honestly, some of the conversation that I've seen, though, has been more of like, hey, if this guy has been a conservative Democrat before and is moving to the left, maybe there's a reason. It's not like he's a crazy conservative. He wasn't a crazy leftist. He's a soldier who lives in a red state and is gay. That's not an easy life.
No.
Maybe we should listen to what he has to say. Anyway, so I'm hopeful for Pete, and like everybody's, I'm loving that people are starting to discover him, and I'm seeing people on like Instagram be like, "Who's this Pete guy?" And I was like, "Oh, check it out, check it out."
Go ahead.
Yes,
go ahead. I'll wait.
So the only other thing I want to talk about is will allow me to run one of these things, and we are a little long, but let's go. We are gonna, of course. Shit, I forgot what I'm doing. Okay, so we're gonna head on down to the Baltimore Corner,
where you get the straight dope. See, I think part of your problem is that you keep hitting that thing, and I'm like sitting over here like just mellowing from
trying to
before the show.
Yeah, I'm active. Oh, this thing you mean?
Yeah. Because you've been hitting it all show long.
Yeah,
so.
I've been trying to carry.
I feel like you've been less like, I can't talk, you got to do this.
So this is the key to this, though. This is the 4-to-1 CBD mix. Yeah. So it's much more like my back feels amazing.
Yeah.
And my knees and my feet, also very good. So,
but not so much like blurry in the...
I'm feeling very like rubby, but not too confused in the head. Yes, not too confused in the head. So, Baltimore Corner.
Yes.
Where we're going to talk about heroin and not weed. But no, one story came up this week I really wanted to touch on is how, so Baltimore police have always been saying, we are the highest level of professionalism.
Yeah.
We are a police force that should be recognized. We need to be paid what we're paid for a reason. And then saw a story today about how there was a murder in Southwest, which occurred about 300 feet, 300 feet from the border with Northwest. And mostly how these things happen is that there's a street which runs, and they say everything to the north side of this street is Northwest, everything to the south side of the street is Southwest. And so everyone clearly knows that this is where it is.
Yeah.
Well, there was a call about a murder, a gunshot and a murder in Northwest. And the Northwest units arrive, and they canvass the area so much so that they go to the address of the caller, and then they work their way south until they reach the line with Southwest, and then say, nope, call's unfounded, no murder here, and head back to base. Meanwhile, the next day, some DPW workers are doing some work, and they find a body 200 feet from there, or 300 feet from there, just in Southwest.
Yeah.
And what happened is that no one ever called Southwest to let them know. There was no canvassing done on that side of the line. And the cops in the north basically hit the line with Southwest and said, oh, not our problem over there. Looks like it didn't happen here. Let's go get some grub. And it boggles the mind. Like, the laziness of just being like, it's not our problem. But also not calling them and being like, hey, you guys might have a murder on this street.
Like, there's like a part of that feels like if I fell in the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
Like if I was in the shower and I fell and I hurt myself and I know I need to go to the hospital. So like I yell out to my voice assistant to call, like you. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, Rob, you have to come help me. I've fallen in the apartment. I need to go to the hospital. And you like walk in, you kick in the door.
Without my key, first of all, I jump 3 stories to get in because we can't get in from the street.
Yeah. You get in, you look around the living room, you don't find me. You go into my bedroom, you don't find me. You go into Roberto's room, you don't find me. And then you come back here and you're just like,
guess he's fine.
Guess he's all right. Guess he made it to the hospital himself. And I'm in the bathroom. I'm like, help me.
Yeah, that's basically how it works.
Yeah.
Except for in that example,
said in the apartment. And can't find anywhere else. I mean, the bathroom is, as we know, not counted as part of the apartment.
That would be fine, except that would have been far more percentage of work than the police actually did. It would have been as if I walked in the apartment, cranked up some or turned some metal music on the home as my entry music, kicked the door open with a playing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, don't see Corey here anywhere. And left.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you had, I don't know, changed circumstances just a little bit and gone a little bit farther, you would have seen it. And I just chose not to. So yeah, the cops are lazy as shit. And we don't need cops. There you go.
So you say.
I mean, would it be any different in Baltimore right now without the police?
Let me ask you this real quick.
Yes.
There seems to be some question as to whether or not Catherine B was actually sick. I've been taking my lead off of like politicians like, I don't know, the attorney general.
Yes. She's sick, huh?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, sure she is.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Like various members of the city council. Yeah, like whenever she gets better, I guess.
We're willing to talk about this whenever she's feeling up to
that
it.
problem. Do you have any insight into this? It feels like it's an awful long. Either she's almost dead or she's like not getting better, or like what is the longest pneumonia I've ever.
I did see a tweet from someone who apparently like went to visit Pew and basically came out and spoke to the gaggle that just basically is sitting there. And it's no one you would ever hear of. It's the guy who's like working weekends and he's just like, I'm gonna be on that desk someday. I'm gonna get the story of a lifetime, and that's gonna put me on the desk. But right now he's like, right now they mute his questions and only play his answers. Or the host, the one at the desk, is like, yeah, our Jim Tolley was there on the scene, and Jim asked her, how are you feeling? And then it cuts to the answer, and you don't even hear Jim ask the question. That's how low in the totem pole he is. Anyway, gaggle, and person comes out and answers questions. It says something to the effect of like, oh, she's real sick. And like they're like, yeah, so like she's very, very sick. Like, oh, very, very ill. Oh, well, she's gonna go to the hospital. Well, she doesn't want to go to the hospital. She feels as though it'd be better to take care of it at home. And it's just like, okay, wait, what logic does that make at all? So, no, I don't think she's sick at all. Clearly now, I definitely don't think so.
Some of these also, like, she just shows up to work like a normal Wednesday. Catherine Pugh today inspecting trash along the Jones Falls. It's just like, when'd she get back?
Is she back? Just pretending like nothing happened. Right back to work. All right. So I need you guys to make me the busiest Tuesday you've ever seen. And then we're just going to slide right into it. And then people just
go, like Jack Young's in the mayor's office. And it's just like, Madam Mayor, welcome back. You're feeling better. It's just like, yeah, feeling better. I'm going to take back over. Thank you so much for all your help, Jack. Oh, okay. Well, first, can we talk about the whole thing?
Listen, Jack, I got a real busy,
very busy,
got a real busy day today.
Blah, blah.
No, I think the better version is Jack's sitting in the office doing some paperwork, and he's got WBAL on the TV, and they're like, Mayor, out all around town this morning. And he's like, wait, where am I? And it just shows Pew like going to different places.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here is her canceling her contract with that company that got a contract with the city after doing shoddy work at her personal residence. And her finally paying her bills to people who she owes money to, and like all around town. And Jack's just like,
here's her paying back taxes on all the clothing stores that she had.
Yeah. Paying back University of Maryland for the hundreds of thousands of dollars she stole from them. Anyway,
the corruption has gotten particularly spicy when it makes it to last week tonight.
Yes.
I feel like Pew should have just seen that and just been like, you know what? Not coming back from this one.
Probably can't. So
I guess I outkicked my coverage on here.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Anyway. But it will continue to be a shit show, I'm sure. And the question is, when we record again, which will now be 10 days from where we sit right now, will she still have pneumonia? Because it's been 7 and she already still has. So will she have it in 10 days? That will be a 20 or 17-day pneumonia.
Maybe. Maybe. I really feel like she's just trying to run out our people just can't remember shit that long. So
wait until they forget, and it just again show up to work one day, and Jack's the only one who's like, "Am I taking crazy pills here? Like she can't just show up again and take the job."
It's like the whenever somebody tells you that something, it's just like, well, the Red Sox beat the Dodgers in the World Series 6 months ago today. That was 6 months ago. What? Feels like it was a million years ago.
Yeah. That's how life feels every single day.
Anywho, you want to know how life feels every single day? OTheAnthem.com. Corey to OTheAnthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. You can find more of me at my website, CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com. Just went through and updated all my credits on the website and put little IMDb links, and all that stuff's cool. So check it out and let me know what you think. I will do a new video this coming week. I'm going to see some sort of movie.
Yeah,
we just haven't. We've been faltering and not seeing anything good. So let's go see some good.
Oh, you know what you need to do? Get Cinemia. Get Cinemia and let's go to the movies.
You know, the other one I've been thinking about is that like one day in the next 7 to 10 years when Alamo Draft House finally opens up.
Yeah.
I'm going to get their plan.
So, a guy I work with, or who's a client of my company, we saw him today. He actually lives in the building across from the block, and he said he got something dropped in his door about Alamo. And I was like, well, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
If they're doing hand billing, maybe they really are going to open summer 2019. So it's at June. So, but it was encouraging people to join that program because I think that their like soft open is going to be only that program people are able to come in. So, but I don't know what the deal is. Is it like Cinnamon? Like as many as you want to see per month?
I think so, yeah.
See, I wouldn't mind that either.
And then you get the discount on the food or something like that?
I would totally do that. It's downtown, too.
Yeah.
Closer than fucking Regal.
Yeah. And you would be able to book in advance and everything like that. And
maybe. But Cinnamon, maybe. Anyway, you can find more of me at Robert and Cheek on all your social networks, but not at robertandcheek.com because I still haven't fixed that, which I think is just a 404 or 311 error. But... the book is out.
Oh, how does it color your energy? That's not 311. That's the other one, isn't
it? Amber is the color of your energy, by the way. If anybody wondered, I should have had it on 2 shot. The look on your face while you were singing that was great, too. You were in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, book's out. The book's out. Make sure you check out Amazon.com.
Properly spelled this time.
Probably spelled. It should be up there. You make sure you look for what's the new Instagram account? The Movement Universe.
Yeah.
Go check out The Movement Universe on Instagram and on Twitter. The Movement TM Insurrection. Also on Facebook. New books on Amazon, so go check it out.
Yeah. Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. Yeah, it's just nothing like stumbling into the finish line. So we've done 26 miles. Shit our pants and just walked the last point too.
All right.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. As always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Well, now that the show's over, I can finally enjoy myself and smoke.